Today on an all-new Dr. Phil. Does the family that works together
My family is in the pet supply business.
stay together?
Brooke shoved me and a full fight broke out.
She's filed charges against your husband.
For assault.
What'd he do?
Robin's husband had me in a headlock.
Is this
What did he hit you for?
Because I went to separate them.
business as usual?
She said that if I went on the show, that I would never see her or my grandchildren again.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. I bet every single one of you is going to relate to today's show in some way. Lindsay claims she and her husband Billy have been completely shut out of her family's multi-million-dollar pet supply franchise business in favor of her other siblings, middle sister Brooke and eldest sister Robin. Now, Lindsay says her parents, Mike and Sue, treat her like the black sheep and cater to Robin, who she claims is a phony Miss Goody Two-Shoes, and Brooke, who she believes is a huge source of the family fighting. Now, Sue and Mike say they do not include Lindsay and Billy in the family business for a very good reason. They say the couple is irresponsible with money and claim Billy is verbally abusive and a liar, but Lindsay and Billy believe they absolutely deserve a bigger piece of the company's lucrative pie. Take a look.
I feel as a child and now as an adult, I've completely gotten the short end of the stick. My family is in the pet supply business. They have 4 very successful franchise businesses. Growing up, my parents were always working. My parents' business was more important than I was. I kind of look at it like a big sister. My parents have always given me nice things, but my emotional needs were not there. I never felt I was important. I'm the last of 3 girls. I have 2 older sisters. My oldest sister, Robin, treats me like she's so much better than me. My sister Brooke, it's always felt like she's had some sort of vendetta against me.
They treat her like she's stupid, like the black sheep.
My husband Billy, he's a great, loving husband and father to our 3 children. Billy served on the front lines in Iraq. My entire family despise him. My parents constantly roll their eyes at Billy.
I feel like the family judges me like the jury judged Charles Manson. They hate me.
I can't believe your parents don't like me. I'm an honest, hardworking man that's married to you, not them.
Billy and I are never treated like the rest of the family. My parents have not set Billy and I up for success. My sisters have been given much better opportunities.
Her sisters were handed jobs.
When my sisters wanted to open a business, they were provided a big, beautiful retail store, staff, state-of-the-art equipment. When I wanted to open a business, it was just me in a little tiny shop.
Her family doesn't want to help us because they don't like me. Every time Lindsay and I have asked for financial help, it's been the end of the world. They made it as hard as possible and then held it over our heads.
They're just a bunch of sad people that need to get in check with their own emotional health.
There's always so much tension when I'm with my family. When I'm around my sisters, I get this pit in my stomach. When I'm around my parents, I get very uncomfortable as well because I know they think things that they don't tell me.
Well, the tension came to a boiling point last month when an altercation actually happened. We're talking physical.
Things with the family have gotten completely out of control.
It was my dad's birthday. All the grandkids were all dancing. My brother-in-law, Brooke's husband, was recording my kids. I said, don't record my kids because it's kind of shady. Next thing I know, my brother-in-law was in my face saying, you want to start, Lindsay? Brooke shoved me and a full fight broke out. Next thing I know, Robin's husband, who is also an ex-police officer, had me in a headlock.
I didn't go, and had I been at that birthday party, I'd probably be in jail right now. My wife was not restrained. She was assaulted. We are pressing charges to the fullest extent of the law.
I haven't spoken to my sisters or my parents. My parents and my sisters have cut us both out of their lives.
It just makes me feel sad. It's really pathetic. I feel like her family absolutely owes us an apology.
I don't think that Billy has received the apology he is looking for, or if he ever will. As Lindsay's parents say, he has been a negative influence in their daughter's life.
What concerns me the most about Lindsay is the change I've seen in her behavior. I don't even recognize her anymore. I'll be the first to admit that running the businesses took a toll on parenting.
Lindsay feels like she was ignored because we were busy setting up the business.
Even to this day, she still holds a grudge. Billy has only negatively affected Lindsay's life.
I did not like Billy from the first time I met him. He's a manipulator and a narcissist.
What bugs my in-laws the most about me is my confidence, that I stand up for myself, and the fact that they're insecure and they know it.
We've given them jobs with the family business. It always backfires.
Sue and Hitler might get along. They like to make people hurt. I feel like I intimidate her parents. It's sad, but they will be the first to, oh, no, you don't!
Billy is angry at Sue and I because Billy feels like he's entitled to one of our stores because he married our daughter.
I absolutely believe that Billy has brainwashed my daughter.
My in-laws think that Lindsay's in some sort of abusive relationship, and she's not.
Billy's been a great influence in my life. He's helped me develop into a stronger person, and I don't think my parents like that.
He scares me every time I think about him. I am literally terrified of Billy. Once he came up behind me, grabbed my face and said, "You turn, look at me." Lindsay, my daughter, has picked up his bad habits. She screams at me, tells me to get out of her house. About a month ago, Lindsay and her sister got into a physical fight. It's just nuts. It's crazy.
Right now, Billy and Lindsay are pressing charges against my son-in-law for assault. I think they're just looking for a way to maybe get some money out of the deal.
We have no idea what will happen next. This craziness has to stop.
He says that you don't like him.
I don't like him.
I don't like him.
I'll tell anybody, I do not like the man.
Yeah, you don't trust him, right? You don't
I
think
don't
he's in
trust
the
him.
best interest of your daughter.
He's not at all, no.
And-
Billy cares about two things, Billy and his car. And everything else, Billy and his car, that's all he cares about.
Right.
And anything else under that is, you know.
Well, he says that he thinks you don't like him, but then he says not very kind things about the two of you, and he says that you're not nice to him, that you treat him like Charles Manson, that you're unkind to his wife, and I don't know why he would expect you to be warm and open to him with the things that he says about you. What is his thinking there? I mean,
Well, Billy thinks that we owe him something. He thinks that we should take care of Billy. And first of all, he demands you that we respect him. He'll sit in our living room and say, you got to respect me. Why don't you respect me? And I say, Billy, respect isn't given, it's earned.
when we come back, you'll hear the unexpected drama that happened behind the scenes while the team was preparing the show. I'll reveal the details of what happened next.
She sent me a text yesterday saying that if I went on the show, that I would never see her or my grandchildren again.
She changed her mind again. That's all happened since we've been out here on the stage.
Oh.
And later,
My husband was videotaping our daughter. She called him a pervert and told him not to videotape her children. I went to separate them, and that's when she hit me.
My parents seem to think very little of me and my husband.
I feel like my in-laws need to get their head out of their ass. They need to start to realize that I'm a good man, honesty and integrity. This is really important to me. I hope something good comes out of this. I've given up a potential six-figure job to come on the Dr. Phil show and get to the bottom of this. This is how seriously I take it all.
well, okay, we have two empty seats here today, and they are empty for a reason. Despite Lindsay sending me an email seeking my help and her husband Billy claiming on tape that this is really important to him and he takes this seriously, well, they changed their minds at the last minute and flew home. And when my team told me about this, I said, well, you know what? That sounds highly manipulative to me. It sounds like they're trying to leverage and control this whole thing because they don't like the way it's going. And I said, we're taping this show with them or without them. I could have helped them, I really could have. But I always say, when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. What do y'all think?
It was Lindsay that reached out to you,
Right.
and that is why we're here,
Right.
is because of Lindsay. And what has happened, and her behavior has gotten so much worse over the last, I'd say 2 years, has just gone like,
It's gone downhill severely.
Yeah. So do you think they're not staying was a manipulation? An attempt at manipulation?
I think they got scared. I think that we came hoping to get this family together, and hopefully, and I had hoped that you could give her some help, some direction, or for us some direction, because things have gotten so bad. I don't know why she left. She sent me a text yesterday saying that if I went on the show, that I would never see her or my grandchildren again. And
Well,
that,
that's when the manipulation came in. It's after they decided to go home, then they're saying, go on the show and this will happen.
And know that when they said they were leaving, after they're the ones that initiated this, my team called and said, hey, they're leaving, they're pulling out, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'm going forward with the show. And the next thing we know, you get this text message, which we have the copy of. Lindsay, if you go on that stage, you are never seeing me or my kids again. And if you go along with it, I want nothing to do with you. Please respond when you see this. And I assume you didn't respond.
no,
Thank you. Good.
I get so many of them, I don't even feel it anymore.
I think Lindsay is, in many ways, a very charming young woman,
yes.
and I wish nothing but the best for her and her family. But there's something that I've identified in the 45 years I've been doing this that I think are critical for people to understand, and I want you guys to understand what I think is going on here. These are the 7 self-defeating games. And when I say self-defeating games, I mean these are games that we all play. And I guarantee you, everybody here and everybody at home, at some time in your life, you play these games, probably all 7 of them. And these are games you play when you're afraid that if things keep flowing along, it's going to turn out bad for you, so you have to blow the situation up. You're afraid of the outcome, so you got to blow the situation up. And if you stuck with it, there's really something you could gain, but you're afraid to do it. And number 1 is don't participate. Like you're in a situation and you think, oh, I don't know that I'm going to be able to control this, it's not going to go the way I want, so I just won't play. I'm just going to pick up my ball and go home. That certainly happened here. Don't participate. Number 2 is play the nice guy. Just tell anybody what they want to hear in the moment. Get out of it. Don't be honest with your feelings. Number 3, be a problem. Like you don't want to do the dishes, break a few. She'll get in there. Oh, just get out of the way. Let me do it.
Right.
Just be a problem. Blow the thing up. Number 4, change the game. If it's supposedly about family unification, we're here to problem solve. We're here for everybody to get on an equal footing. But you find out, wait a minute. Everybody's speaking their mind here, and I've been asked some questions that I didn't have good answers for. I got to change the game here. We got to talk about something else because my story's not holding water too well. Right. So I got to change the game somehow. Let's make this about you ever seeing the grandkids again if you walk on that stage. Spread lies or gossip. Hide behind judgment. And 7, get them before they get you. And boy, that's a good one, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to wait for them to get me. I'm going to lash out. I'm going to do all of those things. We started this show just a few minutes ago, and one of the team's production assistants called Lindsay, who told her she is willing to participate. But then when my producer called to confirm, she changed her mind again. That's all happened since we've been out here on the stage. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Mike and Sue's 2 oldest daughters, Robin and Brooke, are here. We'll hear what they have to say. And they feel their parents must stop enabling their youngest sister's bad behavior. Are they enabling it? We'll find out. We'll be right back.
Robin pretends like she's Miss Innocent. I do find my sister Robin to be pretty fake.
Lindsay likes to play the victim because she feels like she got the short end of the stick as a child. Lindsay's always getting money from my parents. I feel like Lindsay's very ungrateful. Billy is delusional. I wish Billy would just go away.
And later, an update on guest Caitlin. Last time she was here, she was pregnant and addicted.
And how long has it been since you've done heroin?
Earlier today.
Hi, Dr. Phil. My name is Brooke. I feel like my sister's a little beyond help. There's just been so much that we have been blamed for. It's exhausting. My parents, even though they've made their mistakes with Lindsay, they're being treated very unfairly. They don't deserve what they're getting from my sister and her husband. The way they're acting is not okay. The threats and the text messages and the emails and the cops showing up at my house, all that needs to stop. We just need to move forward and be a family. And if she's going to listen to anybody, I hope it's you.
Well, that was Brooke in her submission video to the show. I asked folks to just give me a little bit of their thoughts on tape. She says she has been feuding with her younger sister Lindsay her entire life, and the arguments have gotten so bad she didn't even want to come here. Now, Lindsay not only claims that Brooke is a huge source of the family fighting, but also says her eldest sister Robin acts like Miss Goody Two-Shoes and needs to get off her high horse. But Robin says the real problem is Lindsay and Billy, who are constantly harassing their wealthy family over money. Take a look.
Our family, we all get along pretty well, except for when it comes to my youngest sister, Lindsay. Growing up, Lindsay and I had more of a mother-daughter relationship. She is 6 years younger than me.
Robin pretends like she's Miss Innocent. I do find my sister Robin to be pretty fake.
Lindsay likes to play the victim because she feels like she got the short end of the stick as a child. Lindsay's always getting money from my parents, but it always seems like Lindsay and her husband, Billy, are broke. I feel like Lindsay's very ungrateful. She just expects more. Billy is delusional.
I think Robin's delusional and she needs to get up off her high horse.
I wish Billy would just go away. Our parents have showered both of them with opportunities. Ideally, what I'd like is for them to realize that they're the ones creating all the problems.
Okay, I'm glad you guys are here. Are you guys favorites? Have you been favored in your family?
No, if anything, Lindsay's been, I feel like Lindsay's been favored.
Yeah, I feel
A
like
lot.
Lindsay's had a lot of opportunity. Our parents have
That
been,
is true. We have
But
Lindsay,
our parents do a
at
lot.
least lately.
our parents have done a lot for all of us.
All of us.
I mean, the only thing is that, like, any opportunity that we were given, we took, and we went to work, and we did what we needed to do to make sure that we were successful and the family was good. And Lindsay always seems to, like, kind of just not, she just always seems to think that she didn't get any opportunities. But she's had lots, she just never finishes them, kind of like this. She just starts them, but she never finishes it.
Yeah, so which one of you got in this altercation?
She was telling my husband not to
She said
videotape-
not to videotape her children.
Right, the kids were having a dance party and he was videotaping our daughter. And she called him a pervert and told him not to videotape her children. And so he stood up, and then I went to kind of separate them, and that's when she hit me.
Chris, when this happened, were you surprised when she said, "What are you doing? Don't videotape your daughter"?
Yeah, it was, Lindsay had been instigating conflict the entire evening, so it wasn't a huge surprise, but it was a surprise that she, hit Brooke and turned it from a 3 to a 10.
Well, you're taping what she hit you for.
Well, because I went to separate them, and she's mad at me all the time anyway, so.
What's her end game here with this? Why would she do this?
We don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know. She's very angry. She's so angry, and I don't know why.
That was the hard part about that night, was that the anger in her face. Like, it almost looked like she had gotten, like, possessed. She was so in such a rage. Like, there was like I didn't even recognize her.
I got up, actually, I was sitting at the kitchen table while they were in the living room, and as soon as I saw it swinging, I got up and left the house because I was disgusted with the whole thing,
Now, she's filed charges
Against
my husband.
against your husband. What did he do?
She started pushing my husband with our 2-year-old in his arms. So then he just held her back because she was being crazy.
My husband's an ex-police officer, so he just used like a restraining, he just grabbed her arms and put them behind her back and took her outside because she was out of control. Like, she was swinging, and so he just grabbed her and like took her outside. And so now they're saying that's assault, and they have
saying it was a headlock. And
it wasn't a headlock. And then they've posted it all over Facebook. They're putting it everywhere that she was assaulted by my husband.
But she's wanting to be treated differently and to get along better with all the family.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's also telling everybody in the world that I'm an abuser.
Yeah, she's
and
put
it's
that all over.
affecting
Uses
my
Facebook a lot.
my work. My clients are questioning me. I have a 2-year-old. Like, that's such a huge accusation.
Yeah.
And I've never
It's an irresponsible accusation.
Abuse and assault are not words you should just throw around.
No.
And she keeps doing that.
Well, no, but she's not here to talk about that. So
exactly.
just how much money have Mike and Sue given to Lindsay? Are they enablers? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Over the period of their marriage, we've spent over $350,000 on them. We've bought them a condo. We've bought them a home.
I feel like my parents enabled me when I was a child and then cut me off.
They've definitely helped us in the beginning and then set us up to fail.
We've created a monster, and I just don't know what to do.
Closed captioning provided by...
I really miss my daughter, Lindsay, the one that I used to know.
I miss my parents. We have lots of great memories.
Do I miss having my in-laws in my life? No, they're terrible people. I cannot have a relationship with my in-laws until they apologize to my wife for the way they have neglected her just because of the way they feel about me.
We've had a rough relationship the last couple of years, but I love her and I miss her. This is not what I wanted for her.
What I need from my parents is full acceptance of me exactly the way I am and of my husband exactly the way he is, and to stop trying to change us.
Well, Sue and Mike are parents to 3 daughters who say they have all been given opportunities, along with their husbands, to work for their extremely successful pet supply company. Now, however, the youngest daughter, Lindsay, claims that she and her husband, Billy, are the only ones who are constantly shunned and excluded from financially benefiting from the family business. Now, Lindsay reached out to me for help, so I invited her and her husband, Billy, to Los Angeles. But the day before the taping, they decided to board a plane, leave LA, and fly back home. I guess they really didn't want the help they claimed they needed. So here's the family talking about how they have been enabling Lindsay and Billy.
My husband and I have definitely contributed to help Lindsay and Billy.
I feel like my parents enabled me when I was a child and then cut me off.
They've definitely helped us in the beginning and then set us up to fail.
Over the period of their marriage, we've spent over $350,000 on them. We've bought them a condo. We've bought them a home.
They bought them like 4 or 5 cars. Once he ran his car backwards to the car wash and ripped off the door. So he ruined the car, and then he needed a new car.
The reason we gave them so much was because we thought we were helping. I absolutely have, hands down, no question, enabled my daughter.
I take total responsibility for the enabling of Lindsay and Billy.
We've created a monster, and I just don't know what to do.
If you look at what you've paid here, we just did a quick scan of it, but you know, condo $95,000, house $208,000, car and repairs $20,000, grooming business $50,000, waterproofing business $40,000, miscellaneous food and clothing $10,000. I mean, this adds up to $400,000, $423,000.
And that's not all.
No, we just scanned a few things over a short period of time. Hell, I wish my parents had $423,000 to give me.
You know, even Billy says it in the thing, like, we set him up to fail. Why would we do that? Why would we give him $45,000 to open a waterproofing business so they could fail at it? He did fail at it.
On his own.
And then stole all the equipment that we had bought him and sold it all, you know. But why would we set him up to fail, or my daughter for that reason? I mean, we just don't do that.
If you're doing things to help somebody and you're getting criticized for it,
Stop doing
you
it.
stop doing it. I mean, it's not helping you and it's not helping her.
No.
And he's telling her he said it on tape, until you apologize to her because of the way you're treating her, then there's not going to be any relationship here. And that's not going to happen, correct?
It's not going to happen.
You're not going to apologize to him for the way you're treating her or anything of the sort.
No, I don't understand why I would.
You love your daughter.
Oh, yeah.
You absolutely love her. You wish her the best. And I've said this before, peace at any price is no peace at all. If you have to stop being who you are, if you have to stop conducting yourself with emotional integrity in order to get along with somebody, that's not peace. Because now you're at war with yourself. You start telling her what she wants to hear, or him what he wants to hear in order to get along. You've just shifted to war because now you're at war with yourself because you're saying, what the hell are you doing? So that's not going to work for you. All you can do is prepare your heart to be open and say, I'm ready to receive you in a healthy way at any time you approach me. But I will not play this game. I'm not going to be leveraged. I'm not going to be blackmailed. I'm not going to let you leverage me in that way. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. And if she holds the grandchildren hostage, that is a tragic thing, particularly for the grandchildren.
Yeah, I know.
But my experience is that doesn't last.
Well, I hope not. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to not be able to see her or the grandkids. And I don't understand, all this anger. What is all this anger for? What is it going to accomplish? It doesn't accomplish anything. And the shenanigans and the threats, and most of this, I'm sorry, but it wasn't like this until this manipulation has
It's not
started.
completely true.
Yeah. Well, and it's tough. I mean, I've got grandchildren, and they're saying you don't care about your grandchildren. I know, these are my grandchildren, Avery and London, and they're just more fun than barrel of monkeys, and then you get to give them back, which is great.
That's the best part.
But I mean, Robin loves spending time with them, and they're the light of her life. And I hope that comes back into your life soon rather than later. I feel certain that it will. Look, in many families, siblings take on roles such as hero, rebel, and mascot. So which sister fits which role and why? We'll see when we come back. Closed captioning provided by What will happen when you guys go home?
My fear is that their harassing texts and stuff will actually escalate because they don't seem to, they have an obsession. It's constant, especially with mom and dad. Like they're constantly either showing up at their door or just harassing texts. Like they're mean.
And as the things start being taken away from her, there's going to be more escalation and dirty, nasty emails and nasty telephone calls.
It's scary. They're scary. I fear that they could do something drastic.
Well, and you guys know you didn't invent this problem. I mean, just quick with the audience, if you've had conflict in your family, raise your hand. I mean, look, everybody here raise their hand. I'll raise both of mine. And I'll say this, particularly, I've got 3 sisters, and there's 3 of y'all, and I know how they got along. And, people do have roles, and I say this just for y'all to think about. There are roles. There's called like the golden child or the hero. That's the one that comes up that's they're the leader, the high achiever, they're the admired, the family favorite. Then there's the rebel, the scapegoat. That's the bad kid. They're blamed for trouble in the family. They put on the tough act. They're sometimes creative, independent, and they're often compared. Then there's the lost child. They're often ignored, invisible. They withdraw. They're uncomfortable with others. They have a big attachment to animals. and there's just no pressure, they don't make waves. And then there's the mascot of the clown. Distracts family from issues, always brings a smile, entertaining, doesn't make waves, center of attention, hyper energetic, lots of praise. Their currency is laughter. And I'm telling you, if you look at families, people slot into these roles an awful lot. Clearly, Lindsay has an expectation that you are responsible to set her up for success, that you are responsible to set Billy up for success, that you are responsible to make sure that that happens. And if you've enabled her, stop and let her adjust those expectations. But you can't hold yourself responsible for you violating unrealistic expectations. You just can't do it.
Never thought about it that way. What do you do for her?
Well, this is something she has to work out on her own. If she decides to be a victim, and that's her role, if she decides to feel put upon, and she's got somebody whispering in her ear, they're mistreating you, then you can't fix that. She's an adult. You've got to let her own that. If she chooses to feel that way, all you can do, I mean, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
She needs to change her expectations. You don't owe her a career. You don't owe her happiness. You don't owe her a life. You can love her. You can be in her balcony and you can cheer her on. You can want the best for her. But it's her responsibility to make her own way in this world. And you've given her opportunities. If she doesn't think they're good enough, that's up to her.
Yeah.
You can't hold yourself responsible for that. Okay, we're going to stop. Well, thank you to my guests today, the ones who actually showed up. Coming up, Caitlin was 6 months pregnant and addicted to heroin when I first met her. And even though she took the help we offered after the show, her mother called me 6 months later with a major emergency. You're going to find out what happened to her next. I'm sure you will remember Caitlin, a former guest who fought with me on this stage until the very end. She was a former cheerleader who had become hooked on heroin, and to make matters worse, was 6 months pregnant with her third child. Her mother, Joelle, came to me to get some help for Caitlin before the baby was born. Now, Caitlin's sister, Amy, wanted her mother to stop enabling her drug addict sister. Take a look at what happened.
In the past, Caitlin has done crack, cocaine, heroin, and prescription medications.
I got up to 6 grams a day and started using for about 6 years.
She's lost custody of her children. She's homeless, living with drug addicts.
You have 2 children, correct?
Correct.
And now you're how pregnant?
6 months.
And how long has it been since you've done heroin?
Earlier today.
Yesterday, Caitlin started to withdraw, so of course you think since Joelle is a nurse, she would take her to the hospital, but instead, they made a drug run.
I think I need to find an ATM for her. So I basically spent $280 in the last 10 hours trying to get drugs for Caitlin. I've probably given Caitlin over $10,000 in cash over the years.
I just wanted to help her feel better.
We're talking about her life and that baby's life. How much is going to have to be lost before you pull your head?
This is it.
You have 0 chance of getting this under control on your own. You need to go into dual diagnosis treatment program. Are you willing to do that?
I just don't believe that I could do that, but I definitely want help.
The alternative is I can alert LAPD before you walk off of this stage, and you make a drug hookup, they can arrest you and put you in jail.
So you think forcing someone to get help like that is the best way?
I don't give a what you think. I'm concerned about your baby. Well, I finally got Caitlin to agree to go to Origins like she was doing me a favor, but things don't always go as planned. Take a look.
I was so happy that Dr. Phil had us on the show. It made me realize that I was an enabler and I needed to stop. I was so relieved when Caitlin decided to accept Dr. Phil's help to go to Origins.
It's time to load up. If you're going now.
When Caitlin realized that rehab wasn't going to be under her terms, she was belligerent.
I left rehab after 15 days. When I came back from rehab, I was sober for about 3 months.
I saw Caitlin on January 3rd. That's the day that the baby was born. The boyfriend wasn't there, so I cut the baby's cord.
My daughter was not born positive for heroin. She did not experience any withdrawal from the using. I was clean on and off, but eventually I was using heroin, about 1 gram to 2 grams a day. I get money to live and survive. A lot of times I ask people for money.
Caitlin texts me probably 1 or 2 times a week. When she calls, I just tell her, I'm sorry, you should have stayed in rehab.
I get money from cleaning houses as well, doing little side work, scrapping metal. The money I do get usually goes to heroin, so I really don't eat much. Right now, I'm only using a very small amount of heroin. I've been using maybe about 1/10 to 2/10.
Last time I used the heroin was yesterday.
Since the show, Caitlin got arrested for stealing and her boyfriend kicked her out.
Since not having a place to stay, I have stayed in an abandoned house, sleeping on a friend's porch or backyard, just sleeping outside.
The last time I've had a good night's sleep has been a few weeks.
Mostly I just walk around or sit in the hospital cafeteria.
Right now, I have no clue where Caitlin is. I've given up on her.
What Caitlin said in that tape could not be more wrong, because in January, Caitlin gave birth to a baby girl who was addicted to heroin, cocaine, THC, and some undisclosed, undetermined substance. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by Joelle. Doesn't know where Caitlin is, but where is the baby? Take a look.
The day after the baby was born, Protective Services was there, and Caitlin was very upset.
My daughter did get released into foster care because my mom would not take my daughter.
I take care of 2 of Caitlin's children. I'm not going to take care of another child for Caitlin.
I can see my new baby, but I do not see her because it kind of hurts. I should go and see her, but I just don't have life together right now.
Caitlin has not seen the baby since she left the hospital, and neither have I. If she doesn't get the help that she needs, she will never get custody of any of her children.
Here you are. What did you want to talk to me about?
So I just want to go to rehab again.
Why?
Why? Because I need to. I mean, it did good last time, but this time it's a little different because, well, I know what to expect now. I'm just ready to go. Ready to change life, get things together.
You said you stayed in rehab for 16 days. They say you stayed for 12, but you left. And you act like you're doing me some kind of favor or something. And you're telling me one thing, rehab's telling me another, and I'm just not interested in investing any more money, effort, or energy in you unless I find some reason to do so, because you're acting like you're doing me some kind of favor here. I'm spending a ton of money and time and effort on you. You say you left program completed. You didn't leave program completed.
Yes, I did.
Well, okay. TJ, are you there?
Yes, sir. So typically with somebody that is pregnant, they would fly with it, with the OBGYN's recommendation of the safe travel window, go to a mommy and me sober living that is not in their home area.
Right. And did she do that?
No.
So are you using again?
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
Joelle, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What do you think here?
I think this is her last chance.
Through the drug haze, she fought her way down here half sick. I give her that. Let's give her a tumble, TJ.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. Well, then make the most of this.
I will.
Don't waste this time.
I won't.
Look at me. Make the most of this. You deserve it.